Hello friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelly. It's so great to have you here today. I will be doing my May reading wrap up for you today. I had a good reading month for the most part. I enjoyed it. I started with Mere Motherhood, which a lot of you may not be very interested in, even if you're mothers, because it's Mere Motherhood, Morning Time Nursery Rhymes, and My Journey of Sanctification. A lot of it was focused around her journey as a homeschool mother. I really enjoyed it. The lady who wrote it, same with Cindy Rollins. But I always go into reading books by other mothers with a fear of being judged. And I didn't feel that at all. She has a very different lifestyle to me. A lot of times they had like free range on the country upbringing with their kids. They have a whole lot. I think, was it 9 kids? Whole lot of kids. I only have 3. Not only, I mean, 3 is, you know, your parents are outnumbered when you have 3 kids, right? So it was a really good story because she started off right away telling us how she failed and how she is not perfect. So when an author starts that way, that's trying to tell you about what they think that they did well, because this was kind of her memoir of homeschooling her children, it's good to hear, hey, I'm not perfect, I screwed up, you know, so that you don't go into the book. I don't know why I always am like, they're gonna judge me when I read another mom book, but maybe it's because sometimes as moms we can be a little judgmental of other moms, and she wasn't that way at all. So I know it's a very specific book. A lot of you may not be interested in that type of a nonfiction book, and I totally understand if that is not your thing, because it's a very specific category of people that would be interested. Next, I read Mexican Gothic, and this book was set up very well. I think the author did an excellent job of setting it up. It was an intriguing world. I felt like it was just very well done with the opening. I was very interested in the main character. She was a very good, not perfect character. You could see she had flaws, but she was bright and sunshiny. And my sons are going pew, pew, pew in the background. I'm very sorry if you can hear that noise. But this story was very much a Gothic type story, hence the name. It did give off serious Rebecca vibes. I did not end up liking it in the end though. I felt like, and not the actual ending, I felt like they wrapped up the story pretty well, but in the second act, the mystery that was happening, I just wasn't happy with how that mystery was happening. It wasn't as interesting to me as I wanted it to be, and that was just me. You may read this book and think, oh my goodness, the way they're having this happen is just so interesting and exciting, but I didn't really end up enjoying it. From the middle of the second act through the third act to the end, I was glad how they wrapped it up. So this girl goes to this house because she hears like, oh my goodness, my cousin is having a really hard time, and she's seeing things in this house and hallucinating, and the family aren't doing much. They're not taking her to a psychologist. So this is a cousin she grew up with. She goes to the house. They've all come to Mexico from England. She's not sure about the guy that married her cousin, if he's okay, if he's nice or not. There's one cousin in the family that seems pretty nice, but you never know. And there's one that like is giving off very like goth vibes, and she's kind of reminds me a lot of the evil housekeeper and Rebecca. So she is actually a member of the family. She is another like cousin, and then there is the father in the family, and he is just the creepiest, racist, sexist guy ever, and you just want to, he's really gross. He's like talks about eugenics and horrible things like that. And so, you know, the cousin has married into this. We don't know if she's having a mental break or if there's something actually happening in the house. That held my interest, but like I said, how it was resolved. I'm going to hold up my hand and give some content warnings, but they are sort of spoilery. So if you don't want to listen to them, I will give just a basic content warning in my description box. So I'm holding up my hand now. So the house was making like the girl, our main protagonist, think that one of the family members was sexually assaulting her and that she liked it, which I thought was really something that's gross. And I didn't read that part. I just I could tell it was happening and I skipped past it because I didn't want to read that. And the other thing that is a trigger warning is there is incest in the story. So just some people might really have a problem with that. I want to make sure. All right. Trigger warning done. You can listen now. So I'm not really exactly sure how I feel about Mexican Gothic. I don't really like it, but I do feel like the author was a good writer, and I think a lot of people will enjoy the story. Next is Breaking Time, and this was an arc that I received from NetGalley. I did a review on it, so I'm not going to go great detail to it, but it's by Sasha Alsberg, who is a pretty famous booktuber. She has a page called A Book Utopia, and it was a good book. It was definitely gave off some, vibes of Outlander because it is time traveling in Scotland. There isn't anything graphic like would be in Outlander as far as sex. She is a good writer. There are some little flaws, like some repetitiveness. I talk about this a little bit more detail in a specific review, but I enjoyed it. I'm glad I read it. So it had a good ending, leaves us open for a good sequel. Next book is, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I really enjoyed this one because of the themes. I also did a review on this book, but I am going to read a quote from this book that I thought was very interesting. Intellect is in itself a mode of exaggeration and destroys the harmony of any face. This was given by a very unreliable character, and I thought it was interesting that, that's only true in case of people that you can't really trust. So it was very interesting that it came from that character, but it was my first Oscar Wilde read, and I will definitely be going back for more Oscar Wilde. Next was another arc that I received from NetGalley, and it is The Mystery of Lovelace Manor by Claire Chase. And it was a good, cozy mystery. I really enjoyed it. The main character, the protagonist, she is an obituary writer, which is very interesting because she's always solving these mysteries. I thought that the side characters in the story were very eclectic. I liked the mystery itself was really good. I couldn't figure out the whodunit aspect, even though I thought at one point I had. And so this book is very much a cozy mystery, and I know that they usually are not exceedingly long. This felt too long to me for a cozy mystery. That's the only negative thing I have to say. All right, next was another arc that I got from NetGalley, and actually I guess it wouldn't really be considered an arc because it's been out for a while. I had the publisher contact me on Instagram. I didn't have high hopes because I'm like a very small booktuber and I don't have that many followers on Instagram, but I guess they could see that I do like to read middle grade fantasy. And so I read the first book in this series. They've asked me to read the second, and I loved it. I think there's a fourth one that's coming out soon or just came out, which is why they're pushing it so hard. And it's called The Crowds of Crossball. D.E. Knight is the author, and the magic system is so good. The powers come from your pen, and there are also royals that their powers come from their stone. And we have a girl, there's some themes of the chosen one trope. If you hate that one, I'd still have you try it because it's a little bit a different feel than a lot of the other books. If you like Harry Potter, if you like Nevermore type stories, I think you're going to love this one. It was very clean. The characters were very well developed. I think you would enjoy it if you like fantasy, especially middle grade. And it felt a little bit older because the characters were a little bit older too, but the whimsical quality and how clean it was felt a little bit more middle grade, but the age of the children and the story is more high school. All right, so give it a try. I think we should support some of these smaller authors that are starting to have good success. And let's get her known. Let's get her known out there. The next one I read was Legendary by Stephanie Garber. And this is a Caraval series book. It is the second one in the series. I talked about how I wasn't so sure about the first one, but really enjoyed it towards the middle and the end. I liked this one a lot better. The sisters do irritate me a little bit. They're a little immature in my mind, but it is a YA and I have to remember that. I do like YA quite a bit. Okay, so this one is really just, it kind of takes it to the next level. We're trying to figure out what happened to who Legend is, the person that creates Caraval, this world of carnival games, and there are high stakes to try to figure out who Legend is. There is also a mystery involving the girls, the sisters in the story that are the protagonists. They want to know if their mother is still alive and they don't know. So check out Legendary if you like fantasy. She's a good world builder, Stephanie Garber, the author. Well, that was my month of May. I hope that you guys had a good reading month and are going to go into June strong and ready to read some more. Thank you for watching, and I hope you get to read a lot. Have a fabulous day.